It's the flip man. You want some money in your hand? Flipping houses without credit or your cash. Get that bag.
Okay. Oh, good morning. February 1st, just like that, we're in the February. January is over. Welcome to today's Flipman Day. Okay. Flipman's Daily Wholesaling Real Estate Q&A, aka Fliptainment. Let's get it. Probably didn't get, let me announce. We are free, you want access to the same contract that I've been using since 2003. You can get a free copy of it along with me explaining how to use it for sellers and cash buyers at Flipman. Just do a search on YouTube for Flipman 2021 contract. We ain't got the iPad out, do we? It's in the bag. And then if you want to partner with me on a deal that you need a cash buyer for, you can submit it to dealator.com, but it needs to be under contract, dealing directly with the owner. It's off market. And of course, it's a great deal. And so we're live on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Periscope, and Twitch is down at the bottom. And so we should have some questions by now. Good morning. Glad people are joining us.
All right, someone asked, can you send contracts through email?
In this video, if you do the YouTube search, yes, okay, someone asked, can you send contracts through email for the YouTubers? If you do the search on YouTube for Flipman 2021 contract, not only do I show you how to fill it out for, you can go back a little more if you want to. Just take it off the thing. Okay. No, I'm saying you take it off the wall. Not only do I show you how to fill it out for sellers and buyers, I also show you how to send it electronically through a signature signing service such as DocuSign, right? So to answer the question, yes. Oh, remember you can, if you wanna get pushed to the front of the line with your questioning, you can go to flippinar.com. That's flippinar.com, Flippinar. Just remove the G on flipping and add an AR.com. Tap the red button that says join us live now, and you'll be able to ask your questions live on with me. You get pushed to the front of the line if you do that.
All right, someone asked, what do I do if I have a motivated seller but I can't find homes for the house?
All right, someone asked on Instagram, I think, what do they do if they have a motivated seller, but they can't find comps for the house? Not that uncommon, especially the smaller the city or market. But if you're not finding comps for the house, in most cases, you're not going to be able to find a cash buyer for it either. So I know I'm not going to be interested in it unless it's something I want to keep for myself or something. Or if I knew particularly a buyer wanted to buy, normally going to probably be in a rural area or whatever. Sometimes I can't say that. Sometimes it'd be in an actual city. Just not a lot of, there's just no activity for whatever reason. And we might know why in that particular area as far as transactions. So it's normally going to be hard to find a buyer for it. So it's not normally something I'm going to be interested in for wholesaling purpose. That's probably why they're really motivated to sell, because it's hard to sell. Yeah.
All right, Joanne Roundtree asks, what's a good city to market? And this is from YouTube.
All right, Joanne from YouTube say, what's a good city to market in? Well, I would love to know, Joanne, what city are you in? See, I'm in the opinion, obviously some cities may have a little more activity than others, but it just really boils down to the population. Do we actually have enough people there, right? Normally, I would say 250,000 is a minimum. You can probably go a little lower in the 150,000 population range or whatever. But what we do know is, I don't care where you are, people die in that city, they get divorced, they lose their jobs and income, people relocate, medical bills, kids' tuitions, house needs too many repairs, tired landlords. Life exists in those cities. They're going to be real estate opportunities. It's just you need enough people for it to happen. Okay, Bakersville, give me a geography lesson, Joanne. What is that near? How big of a city? Yeah, how big of a city is that? What county is that in? If you can give me, is that a suburb, would be considered a suburb of LA? Of course, we tried, but you know, I think Bakersville was on that movie, the Zodiac Killer. Is that one of the town cities where the guy was killing? I think so. Like Riverside, Bakersville. Define quaint here.
It's not, I don't know. It's not as big as Birmingham.
Okay, but it still could be like 30 minutes from LA. So, you know, that's going to be a lot of people or whatever. So if you could give us a little bit more. Who? Okay. Population. Just give me, what's the population? Google it. Okay, but yeah, Google, you can Google.
All right, someone asked, when driving for dollars, what's the best way to skip trace and address?
Well, after you driven, someone asked on, I guess, Instagram or TikTok, which one? On Instagram, after driving for dollars, what's the best way to skip trace an address? Well, I'm affiliated with a service. I branded through Skip to Flip. So YouTube search Skip to Flip. It's SKIP, the number 2, and the word flip, all one word. Just YouTube search Flip Man Skip to Flip. In that video, I explain how to skip trace. What we got? Okay, so Bakersville is over $300,000. You're right where you need to be, Joanne. Yeah, 300,000 people in population. You're right where you need to be. You don't have to go any further than that. You can, but I'm just saying you can start there. We got just some fact finders here. What's the word I'm looking for? Fact checkers here. This staff is awesome, guys. It's the fact checking.
All right, this one is from Denise Favors. She said, this is from Facebook. She said, what's the first step to wholesale restaurants? She's in Atlanta. We've never asked that question before.
Oh, what's her name?
Denise.
What's going on, Denise? Said, what's the first step in wholesaling a restaurant? Well, the question I would want to know, I've never done it before, but not an actual business. The question I want to know, is it the business only or the business and the real estate? So that has to be established first. Then you get down into how much money is the business making, you know, how much they want to sell it for. And it just goes from there, you know. So, you know, that's a little bit outside my scope because it's a business and it can be business and a piece of real estate. So.
Should I have my own title company connect or go through the buyer's title?
All right. What was her name? Amber from Facebook said, should I have my own title company connect or go through the buyer's title company? Well, it's all negotiable, but normally the buyer is going to dictate that. So if it's a situation, it may be your first deal, maybe the cash buyer's first deal. He's got some money, but it's his first deal. So they're not going to have a relationship in a lot of cases built already. So the simple thing you can do, you're already on Facebook. You can go to my Facebook group or join it, Wholesaling Real Estate with the Flip Man, and just simply ask your question. What title companies are wholesaler friendly in XYZ city? What title company and closing attorneys are wholesaler friendly? And or you can go to an actual wholesaling Facebook group in that city that you're targeting and ask the same question.
All right, someone asked, what do you tell a seller that wants to know where did you get their number
So someone asked on TikTok, that was TikTok. What do you say to a seller? And you know what? It seems like the more we've done this, the questions are gotten better on those platforms. They always gonna be somewhat different on YouTube because they actually probably diving into the videos. So, but you know, but not saying your question's not good, but that's a good question. Yeah. So what was the question? Oh, tell a seller when they say, well, how did you get my number? That's a good question. And the proper response is, now you probably want to, is that just say, they got this new thing called the internet that does a lot of different things, and that's one of them, you know, but you just basically gonna refer back to the internet. You know, got it off the internet, Google or whatever, so.
All right, do you ever sell a house on the market or is everything off market?
All right, someone on, I guess, Instagram, do I ever sell properties that are listed on the market? I've done it before, but like once, maybe twice. You know, it's just not something that I target. Some people run their entire business that way. But for someone brand new, it's very difficult for them because just too many moving parts once you involve a real estate agent. There are easier deals out there, guys, just marketing your butt off or whatever. Now, again, if you could jump through all those huge, I did a recent video on YouTube. If you go to YouTube and do a search, how to wholesale a house using realtors, I explain, I'm not gonna go through it right now, but in that video, I explain in detail what's needed to do it. You know, if you're gonna go down that rabbit hole, because it does exist with plenty of rabbits.
All right. Someone asked, the city is going through gentrification. I'm pronouncing that right. A good city to target. Is it a good city to target?
Well, there's a lot of, normally that means activity. Yeah, most definitely. Someone asks, if a city is going through gentrification, is that a good city to target? Yeah, it's a lot of activity, or it should be within that particular area of that market.
All right, CEO Properties on YouTube asks, how do you come to property with a non-disclosure state?
Someone from YouTube asked, how do you comp a property in a non-disclosure state? Now, with Deal, aka PropStream, it automatically just going to pull up MLS listings, right? So, you know, that normally works well. So you may have to go through an agent in that area to pull up that information. And what non-disclosure means, I don't think it's like 11 of them. I may be wrong on that. You want to fact check that for me, darling? How many non-disclosure states are there? Maybe we can name them. But it basically means, like here in Alabama, Georgia, and other states, you can see the sold price. In a non-disclosure state, it is public record. In a non-disclosure state, it's not public record, right? If I sell a piece of real estate, I can tell you what. That's why a double close, really, if someone wants to know what you sold it for, if you're worried about that, they can see what you sold and made off the property, even with a double close. The seller, our seller, they get what they want to do, and the buyer get what they wanted out of the deal. Because you want to deal with buyers that want to sell to you over and over. I mean, buy from you over and over again. But you're dealing with a buyer that cares how much you make. That's someone you really don't want to deal with, because if they really want to know what you made, they can just see what you sold it for. They see what the first transaction was for, and the second transaction for. They know what you made. There are 12 states that are non-disclosure states. Could we name those, please? Alaska, Idaho, Kansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri and some counties, Montana, New Mexico, North Dakota, Texas, Utah, and Wyoming. Interesting. Well, y'all, did you know that? Okay, there you go. And knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe.
How to do a seller finance deal?
Someone asks on TikTok, how do you do a seller finance deal? First, you have to have a willing owner that's going to act like the bank, and they're going to agree to accept terms on their property. They don't want it all in full. So That may come with a down payment, may not come with a down payment. May come with interest, may not come with it, just what you negotiate. So it just depends on what you can negotiate with a seller that's willing to do that. Once that happens, contract, set up a closing. You don't have to, but you want to go through an attorney to write up the terms, to write up the note or whatever. So now again, you're paying them instead of a bank. You're paying the owner of the property directly until it's paid off, and you remove that lien. Now, you'll get deed to the property if you do, but it's just so many ways to do owner financing, because technically lease option is a form of owner finance subject to land contracts. Those are forms of owner financing. Then you just have the straight, they don't owe anything, and you're just paying them directly or whatever. So.
All right, is driving for dollars the best way to get motivated sellers, or do you recommend a certain software?
All right, someone said, is driving for dollars the best way to get motivated seller? Is a method of finding deals. It can be one of the more difficult ways to find a deal, because it's just tedious. You have to look at a lot of properties in most cases with normally any form of lead generation. So it's really not costing you but anything but gas money. I say anything but gas, but that may be a lot to some people, so I get that or whatever. But it's still one of the more inexpensive ways. Maybe not be the most efficient way to find deals, and they ask about some of the tools and softwares. Yeah, they're going to speed up the process, but they may cost more than that, but they may save you a lot more time, and you can target a lot more people if you have the budget for it. So, but both work. I'm going to always side on doing something, but whatever you do, be dedicated to it, right? And persistent, and be showered with cash.
All right, is it a good idea to open a DBA account?
Someone asked on, I guess that was Instagram, is it a good idea to open a DBA account? Well, yeah, you need to establish some entity at some point, probably after your first deal. Doing business ads is what that means if you don't know. Okay, oh, you didn't know what it meant. Okay, yeah, it means doing business ads. So you may already have an LLC, and then you'll do a DBA on top of that or whatever, from my understanding. So, but anyway, so. Well, I know we got to have plenty on YouTube.
This one is from Raymond Austin on YouTube. He said, "Hey Ty, last time I talked to you, I had houses under contract. I didn't calculate the Airbnb correctly and got the houses under contract way overvalued. How do I reapproach, because I don't want to throw away the deal? Thanks for any help."
Okay, so on YouTube, what was his name? Raymond basically say he submitted some properties to us. The prices didn't work. And he's saying before he just lets those go, how can he try to get better prices? All right, remember, before I answer this question, if you want to get pushed to the front of the line with your question, you can go to flippernard.com, select the red button, and you can answer the questions on the live stream with me. If you're not too shy. I know I'm shy, I'm here. You guys can do it, right? Okay. So if he submitted some deals that numbers didn't work. Okay, so we let him know that. All right, so he wants to know how he can go back and see if he can get a better. Well, you just go back and tell him, hey, I overestimated. This is what the price needs to be right now, or whatever. Okay, take it or leave it. You know. Now if they reject your price, your follow-up should always be, and you always want to offer when you're selling something, you're always going to ask for a price that less than what you'll actually take. And when you're buying something, you always want to offer lower than what you're actually willing to pay. No difference with this. So you want to make an offer that you're ashamed of. If you're not embarrassed, you don't feel like you're a wretch. You know what that means? Like a wretch like me. You know? And, Amazing Grace. You ain't never heard that?
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, is it okay?
Supposed to be negative. This is just a negative conversation, but I'm just being humorous and trying to. But you need to feel bad about that offer is my point. Normally, that's a good indicator that you offer low enough. You're not expecting them to accept it, but sometimes they will be like, dang, they would have took less than that or whatever. So, but your follow-up would be, if they reject it and don't hang up on you, well, how close can you come to that amount? And then you work from there. You know what I'm saying? They give you a response. Ideally, that's what you want to do. Put up that banner I put up. It should be the last one to the right.
What is that?
Something about the CRM. It's got a little red.
You're talking about
Yeah, lower third there. Not that one. It's another one. And I didn't even put the link in there, but I'll put it in there. It's at the very bottom to the right. Yeah, there you go. All right, so what about I say? Go ahead.
All right, this one is from Kaiser Abdullahi. Hope I said that right.
Is that Kaiser?
Kaiser?
Yeah.
Okay. If I was your old student and I was out with this business 2 years, how can you help me re-energize and work with you again? My name is Kaiser.
Kaiser's saying if he was a student of mine that was an old student and he wants to recharge his batteries, how can he do it? Well, I can't recharge your batteries, but if you paid me to coach you, whether it was 2 years ago or 12 years ago when I started doing this, it's still the same thing. The only thing is, if your phone number has changed, that's how I lock people in. Unless you just like a really rememberable person, I ain't gonna remember. And then now it's gonna get to, can you email me over, when you paid the receipt or whatever, because your phone number changed. I'm not one of these people that changes phone numbers, right? Some people change them every 3-4 months, whatever. So if your phone number is changed, it's not going to be locked in my phone. That's whenever you sign up, I still have the same phone number I had back then, But yeah, so again, I can't recharge your batteries because that's going to be some self stuff going on or whatever, but I can be so if you recharge the battery, let me say, if he recharging the battery, what I'll be in that role? I just bought the batteries, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I just, yeah, something. Well, I figured out. But anyway, yeah, but go ahead, dog. Oh, no. My course and my time with you is the toy that you're going to put the batteries in or whatever. So, but the batteries got to be recharged for us to go. Okay, so I don't know if that works, but. Kids, I tried. Thank you, Kandara. On Instagram, someone says, if you can't find a comp for a similar property, should you still take the risk? Well, it ain't what you think, is what the information says. I like to think, you know what I'm saying, that I'm a cute guy, but what do the people say? You know what I'm saying? So anyway, but no, the numbers work or they don't. If you don't have anything to give you an actual ARV, then it's going to be tough or whatever. Now, you still want to go to nearest and best. It doesn't have to be exactly what you're looking for. It's rare that's happened anyway. You want to go to the nearest and best with the factors in place. If you got a lot of comps around you within those boundaries that it needs to be in, that's still a good thing because there's a lot of activity. You just got to figure out a number that's going to work for that particular house or whatever. So that's the main thing. Is it a lot of activity right there by the house? Not crossing any major streets or anything. So. Well, I seen there, it's a pair of jeans called Bird Dog jeans now. Yeah, oh yeah. Well, anyway, but for the purpose of, yeah, I see that door locked. I'm gonna have to karate chop somebody. What is a bird dog is what the question is. A bird dog is basically, okay, let's say, I like to give analogies. If y'all haven't noticed. You can't stand when I had them keys in that door, okay? Oh my, hey, this thing here, woo, boy, you ain't seen me in action with this right here, boy. What is a bird dog? Let me see the best way to find it, and then I'll explain it. I'll give you a perfect example. it's a CNA or LPN. They ain't RN. They doing everything the RN does, while the RN probably just sitting at a desk pointing. They making this, and the RN making this. That's basically, you're doing the same thing as a wholesaler's doing, but you're limited to making $500 to maybe $1,500, where the wholesaler could pay you $1,000 on a deal. I'll give you the perfect example. One of the bigger deals I've done before, which was a $40,000 payday, I paid the bird dollar $1,000. Now she produced the buyer, but I'm just using the point. Even if she produced a seller, it's still gonna be $1,000. But she would have done the same thing I've done. Only thing she didn't do is take the step of putting it under contract, so she could have made that 40,000. You see what I'm saying? So, well, I guess I made 39 because I gave her 1,000, but you get the point. So basically, a CNA or LPN may be a better example, doing all the work the RN does, but getting paid half the money. And in this is where you're not even getting paid half the money in most of the cases. Yeah.
All right, somebody wants to know what book do you listen or read?
Well, unfortunately, that wasn't pushed in my household. My mama did the best she could. I love her to death, but I'm not a reader, which that didn't have to be on her. Sometimes kids just pick it up or whatever, but normally it has to be pushed in that direction. You know what I'm saying? And sadly, but fortunately, that's not the only way you can learn stuff, because you can't just listen to someone and learn just as much, if not more, or whatever. So we got this thing called the internet. YouTube, just wonderful. Probably the reason why we're here right now. So I'm not a reader, is the point I'm trying to make, so I can't recommend anything. Sorry.
This came from Big Boy Music Group on YouTube. He said, how do hard money lenders work? And if you had access to a friend who's a hard money lender that wanted to help jumpstart your career, what's the best way to get started or capitalize off of their help?
All right. Big Boy Music from YouTube says, how does hard money work? I'm gonna answer that first. Hard money lenders is a form of private lending, basically where, no, I'm just using real estate as the business, is that they will lend you the money to buy, fix, and flip a house in most cases. Now, it used to be just, well, I ain't gonna say it used to be. It was when I got started, hard money lenders based it totally on the property. I'm gonna say 90% on the property, right? Your credit really didn't matter. In a lot of cases, it didn't matter. They felt that they couldn't lose in the deal if they loaned you on a property that's worth $100,000, but all in you're only at $60,000 or $70,000. We'll just use $70,000. So even if they had to take the property back, they can sell it, right? And get their money back, maybe even at a profit. Now they're not in it to do it that way. I'm just saying they're trying to reduce their risk. But the difference in them and a bank is the speed of the loan. The qualifications are a lot less in most cases, but the trade-off is their higher interest rate. Well, you may be able to get a bank loan for 4, 5, 6%. With them, the amount is going to be 10%, 12%, 15%, or whatever. It's just the cost of doing business. Now, he said he has a friend that's a hard money loan. I wouldn't tap into that relationship until I know what I was doing. Now, if you already know how to renovate a house, because that's where the money is basically spent, you know what a great deal is. So, yeah, you can do it then. Now, a lot of times with hard money lenders, they're going to want a down payment of 10%, 20%, 30%. Sometimes they just base that off of maybe your credit and or experience as a rehabber or whatever. So, or some people use hard money loans to buy, fix, and rent out. Then they cash it out with a traditional loan or whatever. So hopefully I answered the question. But it's just a Google search away also.
All right, so Pete Lasser said, once wholesaling becomes regulated and many people have to obtain realtor's licenses, what will be the main changes in the wholesaling process?
Well, who's to say it's going to go nationwide regulated? You're only talking 2 states right now out of 50 and 1 city, which is Philadelphia. So 2 states, 1 city. Who's to say it's going to be regulated? But if even that's the case, you just work around it. You just make it happen. Whatever the laws are, just like you're working within the laws now to put a transaction together, same thing, whatever.
All right, so this is kind of like piggybacking off of the.
Well, and then let me repeat what the question. His question was, once wholesaling becomes regulated, what changes to be made, blah, blah, blah. So that was my answer.
All right, this is kind of piggybacking off the non-disclosure question we had earlier from COBO Properties, and they're on here. I don't know if they know, but I can't add to the screen because I don't think we're connected.
Oh, his video is not showing? Also, some people have joined us. So now you got to connect your mic and your video on the screen, and make sure that if you're trying to listen to us on a different device in the background, you can't do that because we'll get feedback. So you can get pushed to the front of the line with your questions if you go to flipinart.com and hit the red button. What's the question here?
Wouldn't it be a good idea then to use an agent in a non-disclosure state?
Well, I said that. So, or sign up for Deal Later, aka PropStream, and you won't have to pay that agent that commission. You just pay the $97 a month, which is cheaper.
So this person is double closing really doesn't have anything.
It has it for that moment. But if they're hell bent on finding out what you made on the deal, that's all you can find out. And the question was the double closing really doesn't hide anything. It has it for that moment. Again, I want buyers that want me to send them deals or begging me for deals. I'm not looking for one night stands, right? I'm not looking for one night stands when it comes to this. I want buyers begging me, hey, what you got, Tyrone? Now, the only way that's going to happen is that I'm making money, and obviously they're making money. If we agree on a price, I don't care if I'm wholesaling the house to him for $100,000 and I have it on the contract for $1. If that $100,000 works for them, that's the only thing that should matter. If they worried about how much, I don't want to deal with them. The seller ain't worried about it. They getting what they're getting what we agreed upon. Yeah, I don't care what they think. Well, they're getting what we agreed upon. They know I'm not doing this for free.
Do you ever do live cold calling, for example, showing how to talk to a seller and or buyers?
I have a couple of videos on my YouTube channel that go through that process.
Is PropStream considered MLS?
No, but they're tapped into most MLS platforms around the country. The question was, first, let me go back. First question, do I ever do live cold callings? I said I have videos where I've done it. And then the other question was, is PropStream tapped into MLS? I mean, is PropStream MLS? And I said they're tapped into most markets around the country, so.
Stephen Curry, how do you get a rental property under contract for an Airbnb?
Stephen Curry said, how do you get a rental property under contract for an Airbnb? Well, Airbnb is really not my thing, but if I was going to, I guess what he's asking, it may be a property for rent. You approach the owner and say, hey, I'm going to rent this property, but basically, I don't know if you tell them, assuming you tell them what you're going to do, is you're going to do the temporary lease, temporary rent, or whatever it's called, but they won't have to do any landlord. I don't know how you go, so that's really not my thing. So.
Do you have to actually be present and to see the property?
Okay, the question is, do you have to be off of TikTok? Do you have to be present in order to make the deal? Do you have to see the property in order to make the deal? Well, when people that do virtual wholesaling, they never see the property. Now, they may get pictures and photos of the property, either from the owner, but ideally what you're going to need is someone representing you, boots on the ground, right? To go view the property, to deal with selling buyers that they have to meet or whatever. That could be a friend, a family member, another wholesaler, who else? a real estate agent, whoever. So, but yeah, you can do it that way. So a lot of people do it that way, but they never see the properties.
How do you calculate the ARV?
All right. Question is, how do you calculate the ARV? Yeah. What was the question?
They want to know how to calculate the value of the property and the repairs.
Okay, as far as the ARV, you're going to base that on compare. So someone wants to know how you calculate ARV and the repair costs. As far as the ARV, you're going to use what other properties have sold for, similar to your property. They call comps, a comparable sale. They're short for comps. If you go to YouTube and do a search for Flipman Comp Like a Pro, and then Flipman Free Calculator, those videos will explain. As far as the repairs, a simple thing you can do, if the property is vacant, multiply the square footage times $25. If it's not livable, what I said, vacant. If the property is livable, $25 times the square footage. If it's not livable, $40 times the square footage. Now you can go a little bit in either direction depending on if it's a rental area, blue collar area versus a higher end area. Maybe that $40 may go up to $25, but generally speaking, that'll work. That'll give you a number you can work with. Okay, boom. So we got our first live stream guest. Oh, what's happening, man?
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. What's going on?
Oh, man. I got a couple of questions, if I may, occupy a little space in your time.
Yes, sir.
First question. I'm the guy that I'm a couple of properties that's been sending in the questions this morning with the non-disclosure state.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get started in this business. And my first question to you is, since I'm in a non-disclosure state, should I use the pending prices that are listed like in Zillow from the last time it was sold? And maybe 2 or 3 years ago?
No, you can't use that. You
can't use that.
Yeah, that can be just all over the place. You know, what they sold for, why they sold for that amount. Right, it can be all over the place.
That makes sense.
Now the free, it's really not a free way to do it, because even if you reach out to real estate agents, they may do a couple of them for you free because they think they're going to be able to do some business with you down the road. But at some point, they're going to stop answering your call and text message.
Of course.
And most of them are not going to have the patience, because you could be a real source to them making money weekly, really, and definitely monthly. But most of them ain't going to get that. So you're going to have to go a paid option on that. Now, the service that I'm a partner with is Deal8, aka PropStream. What state are you in? What state is this?
Texas.
Yeah, most definitely. It's going to pull up that information, right? And then you're going to be able to go through your comp process as needed. If you go back and watch the episode of Comps 101, episode number 23, we actually do a couple of properties in Texas, I think, or whatever. You'll see what I mean, or whatever. So just do a search for Flipman Comps 101. Number 23, it'll just automatically pull up, and it'll be really any of them, because we do Texas, because it's such a large state. We're going to get some of those submissions pretty much every show, and it shows you how we go through that process with using MLS listings, because it provides that information. Okay.
So if the information is not available publicly, PropStream can still pull up the comps for individual property?
It's going to pull up MLS transactions, right? And so that's all you'll need, because it's going to be enough transactions in there for you to come up with an actual ARV, which is the main thing. So, because you're not going to be able to get it public information, you're not going to be able to get sales prices on property.
So it's different from Zillow then.
Well, if Zillow gives you some information, because it's going to give you an estimate. And normally when we're doing it live on my co-host Jamil Demji, he can't pull up any of those on Zillow. You know what I'm saying? Because Zillow gonna give you a Zestimate, but it won't give you the option to see why they came up with that amount or whatever. Or come on with your own opinion. Whereas in disclosure states, you can pull that data through Zillow for free.
Okay. Now, no pun intended, to flip the script. when you go to escrow and you want to wholesale terms, okay, are the terms a part of escrow, or are the terms something that's after escrow closes, a separate agreement?
Well, whenever you're gonna do do a transaction where terms are involved, that's gonna be part of what they're closing on. Well, it's gonna be exactly that's the actual sale, is the terms. And they just putting the paperwork in front of you and the seller. You know, you all agreed to this, and this. Y'all sign off on it. So now they'll record that. Now that note, the seller holds a note on it. That's who you're gonna be making your payments to, or however it's done. It may be a subject to or something. I'm just saying the terms are handled at the close. That's the purpose of the close, because that's the sale of the property.
Okay.
Yeah.
So once that's all closed out, let's say it's just for a number, 5-year term, let's say.
Yeah.
For those 5 years, we don't go through escrow to pay the terms. That's just between me and the seller.
Yeah, however, whatever you all agree upon.
Okay.
If it's directly to them, then yeah, you'll just be making the payments directly to them.
Okay.
To the seller.
Yes, sir. Well, hey, Flip, man, I appreciate all your information. I'm sure you've heard this many times, man, but you're a blessing to us, man. Thank you very much. Appreciate
No problem at all, man. I really, really appreciate you participating today, and I hope I answered your questions.
You have. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Hercules.
Someone wants to know on TikTok how to get on the live.
To get pushed to the front of the line, what you need to do is go to flipanar.com. Flipanar.com. That's F-L-I. It's right here. Flipanar.com. Flippinnar. That's flipping. Remove the G. Add an AR.com and just tap the red button that says join us now live or join us live now, something like that. And just make sure you turn your camera on, turn your mic on, and you're not trying to listen to us in the background with a different device, because the audio will pick up badly.
All right. Can you wholesale a tax deed property?
Can you wholesale a tax deed property? Actually, yeah, it's a whole operation with probably more than one, but it's one company here that does it on a big scale, and they basically position themselves where they not have really ownership, but they have the controlling interest in it for now, and they wholesale those out to people or whatever. You know, they doing, from my understanding, 40 or 50 of those a month. You know, so all over the state.
All right. Someone said they tried to download the contract, but it keeps taking them to the how-to video.
Well, what I've done, if you go to YouTube and do a search for Flipman 2021 contract, that video explains how to access it. The download is really not available. You fill it out, the per se download, the blank download. There's a blank form on gulator.com where you fill it out. Then you download it, right? My thinking was behind it, I'm trying to make this simple for you guys. I know you guys want to have just a piece of paper, you write it up, hand it to the seller. You can do it that way. I'm just letting you know it's not available that way. You can type it up, do whatever you want to. I don't care who, whatever. I'm just telling you how you can get it. I try to make it simple for you guys. Whenever I'm trying to do, I'm always thinking the easiest way to get you to a check. You hand a seller a contract, they're going to look at it and start asking questions. Which one would you prefer? Fill it out online, get their email address, send it to them, click, and sign. They may still have questions, but it's a lot easier to get those answers either through a text message, email, or phone call, or whatever. Then you stand in the face and you have no idea what the answer is. You do however you want to. I'm just telling you, if you want a blank copy, you're gonna have to type it up yourself or whatever. You can access it on daylater.com. But I'm just telling you, I made it easy for you to fill it out there, print it out, and give a professional looking contract, send it over by emails. Rare people don't have email. Sometimes they will want it in their hand. You handle it then, but otherwise, 95% of the people are going to want okay with you emailing it to them, and they're just 2 or 3 clicks away from signing it. Boom, you got your signed document. I'm trying. You ain't listening, but I'm trying.
All right. Do you do hard money lending?
No.
Someone said, hey, look, man, how can I add real estate agents and realtors to my arsenal to get wholesale deals?
All right, question before that, did I do hard money lending? No. And what was that question here? They asked me, how do they,
How do you add real estate agents and realtors to my arsenal to get wholesale deals?
they asked, how do they add realtors or real estate agents to their arsenal to get wholesale deals? YouTube search, how to use real estate, how to use realtors to wholesale houses and put Flipman before or after that. There's a recent video I did about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I'll tell you what the deal is, the positives and the negatives. Someone asked, where am I located? We're located in Birmingham, Alabama. Birmingham.
Well, buying a property with a tenant already in the place, giving you instant income, how should you go about getting funds, and how should you offer less than the asking price?
All right, someone's basically asking if they're buying a house that already has a tenant, how do they get the money to buy it, I guess is what they're asking. And what price should they pay? Well, number one, let's address, you gotta have the money. Either it's gonna be your money or somebody else's money, or a combination of both. All right, so even if you get someone else's money, in most cases, they're gonna want you to put a down payment, even if it's hard money. They're gonna normally want 10, 20, maybe 30% down or whatever. So if you can cross all those hurdles, then you can go shopping. If you got the money, you go shopping. Or you just looking for the best deal to produce the cash flow that you're looking for.
All right, this is from I guess Wayne Royal on YouTube. He said, "What's your average size list for a text campaign?"
All right, someone from Wayne said, what's your average size list for a text campaign? We normally do between 1,500 to 2,000 normally. But if you want to learn how to do that, go to YouTube and do a search for text to flip.
All right, the guy Kaiser, he said his number's still the same. Remember he said
Well, you need to text me then. You need to text me then. Or call, either or.
So Red from YouTube said, "I'm new to wholesaling and I'm having difficulty recognizing the deal. I use PropStream and I think I'm crunching my numbers correctly, but I've yet to locate it low enough to even consider."
All right, what was the name?
So Red on YouTube.
I'm new to wholesaling. I'm having difficult recognizing a deal. I use PropStream. I think I'm crunching my numbers correctly, but I'm yet to locate anything low enough to, well, yeah, if you think the numbers are right, it just sounds like you're not encountering enough sellers that want to sell, and you are negotiating to a price that works for you. So I think you need to work, from what you're saying, focus more on your lead generation. I think you may have the numbers down where you need to be. You need to just be talking to more owners. You need to generate more daily leads. That's the name of the game.
All right, this one is from Eat with the Q on YouTube. She said, "I found a house with sheriff's sale on the door. Can I do anything with that property?"
Okay, Eat with Q. I think we DM'd each other earlier today. Eat with Q. I found a house that's a sheriff's sale on the door. Can I do anything with the property? Well, you depending on what stage of that is. I'm not in your sheriff stage process. You still may be able to reach out to that owner to salvage that deal. Maybe a ton of equity there, and you can make money. I don't know what the lien is that they're foreclosing on, but again, you'd have to fact find on that. But yeah, it's still possible. To answer your question.
He said, "I have someone who says their house should be a tear down, but looking at the outside, the structure looks strong. I haven't been inside yet to see for myself. They mentioned doing it as a land deal. How should I approach the situation if the house can be rehabbed?"
Okay. Donald says, I have someone who says their house should be a tear down, but looking at the outside, the structure looks strong. I haven't been inside yet to see for myself. So they mentioned doing it as a land deal. How should I approach the situation if the house can be rehabbed? Sounds like the sellers is telling you they're going to give it to you really cheap. So, you know, hey, roll with it. If you think the house can be, you know, renovated, and they think it needs to be torn down, so they're gonna probably give you a torn down price, which is basically the lot itself. So you're gonna negotiate the best deal possible. You know, you probably need to see the inside of it and go from there. But you know, sounds like you have an opportunity if the numbers work.
Okay, this came from JD Ramon Raymond from YouTube. He said, thanks for all your help, man. I started last year, done over 10 deals last year. This year I'm on track to do over 100 deals.
Oh, wow.
Purchase and sale agreement.
All right, boom. So what's my man's name? JD Rawhim. So he's done 10 deals last year. He's on his track to do 100 deals this year. And he's using this free contract that I keep telling you can get for free. Boom. Pop Stain, the original.
How do I wholesale Section 8 properties?
All right, Pop Stain from YouTube says, how do you wholesale Section 8 properties? I think we sort of mentioned that earlier. It's still going to boil down to the cash flow. You know, what are they receiving as far as Section 8 income? Obviously, the expenses, what price you can get it at. And repairs can be an issue, but if they're living there, it probably won't be an issue. So it's still going to boil down to the numbers. So you put it on the contract, it'll be considered turnkey. You may have quite a few buyers interested in that if you negotiate an attractive deal, because they're looking for cash flow. And they generally will pay more than someone looking for a fix and flip. Because it's a long-term play. Go ahead.
This one came from Lon on YouTube. He said, is it a good idea to buy duplexes in colder states?
Lon, it said, is it a good idea to buy duplexes in colder states? I don't see why not. They need shelter there, just like they do in the warmer states. Probably they need shelter even more so. And so it's still going to boil down to if it's a great deal or not, you know, or a good deal. It doesn't have to be a great deal, but a good deal.
Oben said, this is from YouTube, how many and what type of LLC should I open?
Eldon says, how many and how
many and what type?
How many and what type of LLC should he open? Well, I'm not sure. Well, what's your end game? Are you going to be doing rentals, or are you just going to be wholesaling? Wholesaling, you really only need one or whatever. But if you're going to be doing rentals, a lot of people like to put each property that they own into its own separate entity / LLC. So what type? I'm not sure about that. I guess it's just you sole proprietorship, or I forget what the other options are. So. Someone asked, can I elaborate on the JV contract? I don't really do a JV contract. And that doesn't give me any, well, if I'm on the seller side, well, it doesn't give me any, you want to be in purchase and sales agreement or some type of option. The JV contracts technically won't stand up in court if needed or whatever, you know, from my understanding. Purchase and sales agreement, man. You want to ensure you get paid. You want to increase the chance of you getting paid greatly. Let me say that.
All right. What's the average closing cost with the title company?
Question is, what is the average closing cost with the title company? That's going to vary from market to market, state to state, city to city, or whatever. I'm going to say anywhere, and I don't know, this is me guessing, anywhere between $750 to maybe $1,500. You know, so. Oh, so you got more. I can show you that. We'll take a couple more.
I'm guessing they asked on a question. They said you did a video on Airbnb blueprint on YouTube.
Yeah, you need to just watch that video and follow the instructions there. You know, I did that with my man, one of my men. out of Florida or whatever. They're the expert. I was just letting you know about them. So.
I have a local wholesale lead, and when I go to view it, what am I looking for exactly?
Someone said they have a local wholesale lead, and what are they looking for when they go view it? Now, you probably just want to do it just for the experience. Normally, I'm not going to go look at a house unless the price works over the phone. But again, you may just want to go do it for the experience. But if you're going out and look at a house, you want to take photos, you want to take pictures, just trying to get some idea, background about the house. When you're walking through with the seller, do more listening than talking. And that's it. It's still just going to boil down to price. That's one of the reasons why I like to have a price that's going to probably work for me before I even go out, because you have to talk to so many sellers to get the one deal. If you went out and looked at every property, if you're doing the proper amount of marketing that you probably should be doing, you wouldn't have time to do anything, because you'll be looking at so many dead leads, and it's taking time for you to walk through those. Now, an idea, you may pick up a 2 or 3 because you are going out and take a look at them, but you know. Hopefully that answered the question.
This one came from Tony WF on YouTube. They said, for the earnest money deposit, do I give it directly to the seller?
All right, Tony from YouTube says, for the earnest money deposit, do they give it directly to the seller? In most cases, no. The correct way to do it is to have it held by a title company or closing attorney. Now, I have done it before. I'm just telling you the correct way to do it.
Someone said, this is from Bebe Jones on Facebook. She said, I'm new to wholesale. I found a property, but the owner died. Where do I go from there?
All right, Bebe from Facebook says that they're new to wholesaling. He found a property, but the owner died. Where will he go from there? You have the owner's information, you have the mailing address or whatever. So initially what I would do is go to ask the neighbors, you know, the history of the property, then now to contact the relatives. You're not getting anywhere there. Then, and if you do go ask them, you got to give them an incentive, because they say, yeah, I know his daughter, child, mother, or whoever. And you got to give them an incentive. Well, you don't have to, but ideally you have to give them an incentive to pass your information along to them. Say, hey, if I close on this property, we buy it, I'll give you $1,000, I'll give you $500 or whatever. So, but if that doesn't work as far as the neighbor, they don't know anything, then you could do this one service called Intellus.com, INTELIUS.com, and you can do a search there for less than $20, and it'll give you possible relatives, and then you'll probably search them or whatever, and you know, you pursue and try to see if they're interested in selling. You can put a deal together.
All right, Olvin asks, at what point do I submit the contract to the title company?
Oben asks, at what point will they submit the contracts to the title company? When you have a seller under contract, when you have a buyer under contract. I have a video I released that was really a refresher on the video on the closing detail sheet in that process. If you do a search for Flipman, Flipman, how do you get paid? That video explains in more detail, but to answer the question, once you have both contracts, you want to, and my closing detail sheet is free at daylater.com also.
Someone asked, how would you suggest getting tax delinquent listings in your city when the city offices are closed due to COVID?
Well, a lot of that, someone asked, how would you get a list of tax delinquent properties when a lot of city offices are closed? A lot of that stuff is online or whatever. So depending on the city, the county, state or whatever, a lot of it is actually online. So if that's not the case, I'm not sure what you would do at that point if they're not open.
How long do you recommend having a contract for your first wholesale deal?
Someone asked how long I guess they should put the property under contract for. I'm normally not going, I'm not going to do anything less than 30 days. This COVID time period, I'm trying to do 40 plus days or whatever. So ideally, that's what you want. So we've been going for hard here for an hour. Thanks for joining the Flipman Daily Lives. TikTok, follow me on Instagram. Instagram, follow me on TikTok. Don't forget, you can get a copy of my contract that I've been using since 2003. Flipman, just do a search on YouTube for Flipman 2021 contract. If you want to partner with me, you're having trouble finding a cash buyer, if you have a property under contract, you're dealing directly with the owner, it's off market, and it is a great deal, we can JV and split it 50-50 if we provide a buyer for you. Remember the CRM, actually later on tonight, this evening, 6 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be doing a live to demo the CRM, taking questions about it. I'm going to try to keep that up every Monday. So if you're interested in it, just do a search for Flipman CRM, or you can go to dearlater.com to just test drive it out. You watch that video first, and then you can go to dearlater.com. You'll see the link for the CRM. You can test it out. But yeah, join us this evening. So everything you need to know is on my YouTube channel. If you didn't know that, every question I basically have answered here is there. So if you didn't get your question answered, you can post them in the comment section of any of my YouTube videos, and I answer those on a daily basis. So again, everything there is on your YouTube channel. So you have nothing to, so what do you have to lose when the knowledge and training is free?
Flip man, it's the flip man. You want some money in your hand? Flipping houses without credit or your cash. Yeah, that.